Good morning. My name is Carly Oliver. I'm a geologist, exploration manager for Lithium One. Today I'll be taking you through the portfolio that Lithium One has put together over the last 6 months and the work strategy for 2023 to advance each property forward this year. There we go. Okay, so a lot of you know that lithium is hot and that Canada has emerging lithium districts. And those districts are on course to be huge. Look at the success of companies over the last 12 to 18 months like Patriot with their Corvette project in James Bay, Winsome Resources with multiple projects in Quebec. On the Ontario side, Green Technology Metals with multiple projects, the Seymour Lake and Root project. So the prospectivity here is really high. We haven't seen this level of a staking rush in lithium in decades, and properties that have historically been worked for gold or base metals, we're seeing an exploration shift in focus towards lithium. All of this plays right into our team's wheelhouse. Our team has experience in all stages of the mining life cycle, but our sweet spot is early to mid-stage multi-project exploration. And we have the in-house capabilities required to move all the projects forward this year. Another crucial advantage is that early stage hard rock lithium exploration requires a fraction of the time and money compared to other commodities like gold or uranium. So in other words, if you have the in-house capabilities, a multi-project approach is not only the most viable way, it's the best way to explore in emerging districts. And we've deep dived into these districts and we've put together a portfolio that we think is not only the most exciting, but one of the largest. Okay, let's look at some of our projects. Here's an overview of the James Bay area in Quebec. In this map view, there's 10 major projects, mines, and discoveries. In the north, we have Patriot's Corvette project with Winsome's Canset and Adina. Lithium One has 3 properties in this district. We have a Seercap project to the southwest. That's adjacent to Alchem's James Bay lithium mine that just got its approval from the government in January 2023. And to the south is the Cermak East project that's adjacent to Vision Lithium's Cermak project. They put out a positive PEA in the last 2 weeks, and it's about 10 kilometers away from Sayona's Mablanc deposit. You'll see that in a lot of the slides, we're showing this dashed line. This is a geologic sub-province boundary. And this is significant because these are deep-seated structures that act as fluid pathways. And lithium deposits are overwhelmingly found within 20 kilometers of these features. So it's one of the features that we look for when we're evaluating projects and prioritizing our projects for the upcoming work program. Here's an overview of our high priority projects in Northwest Ontario. This is the Root area where Green Technology Metals has their Root project that hosts the Macomb deposit. It's a 2 million ton, about 1.3% lithium. They're doing a 24,000 meter drill program this year, all season camp, all season road. I think they'll be updating the resource this year. And this area has seen a lot of recent forest activity, so there's a network of logging roads and new outcrops. So let's take a look at some of our high priority projects on the project scale. Number 1 in Quebec is the Taycan project. This is adjacent to Patriot's Corvette project, underlined by the same geology, multiple map pegmatites on property, and it also includes this isolated claim block that is completely surrounded by Patriot. And that CB lithium trend that was identified by Patriot in 2017 crosses over that claim block, and we know there's map pegmatites there. To the north is the Ferrari project. This is a recent acquisition. It's about 30 kilometers north on the eastern extent of the La Grande Greenstone Belt, which is the same package of rocks that host Corvette and Winsome's Candina project just off to the map view to the west. To the south, we have the Bugatti Project, and this is on a separate LCT pegmatite trend on the edge of the La Grande Greenstone Belt that spans from Corvette Lake all the way to Winsome's Adina project, which is about 40 kilometers off the map to the southwest. The project has multiple matte pegmatites on property, elevated lithium in rock samples just off property, and has no exploration history for hard rock lithium. So that was priority 1, 2, 3 for our Quebec. The last one I'm going to show you in Quebec is our Seercap project. This is adjacent to Alchem's James Bay lithium mine. The claim block that is just to the south, that has a 2-kilometer long trend of pegmatite boulders that grade up to 2.9% lithium, and the source of the boulders has not been identified. We're also adjacent to Madero Mining. They put out some good news in February from their 2022 field program, and they'll be going back this year to follow up on results there. And one thing I want to point out with this map, those red dots, those are the pegmatite outcrops. You see the distribution around the 2 lakes to the south, around the lake shores, and then there's a linear trend. That's a road. So this is a function of data distribution. This is the easiest place to find outcrops, and it really underscores the prospectivity here and how underexplored these areas are. This is not just in this map view. You see it in James Bay to the north and in Northwest Ontario. So top priority project for Ontario is our Route South project. We're adjacent to Green Technology Metals. This is where they're doing the 24,000 meter drill program. In 2022, prospecting identified multiple new previously unmapped pegmatite dikes on the property, the largest being 30 meters wide and 700 meters long. So this will be the first place that we put boots on the ground in late April, early May. Zooming out from that, there's the Route South on the lower right. We have the Allison South and the Sharp project. The pink units, these are paraluminous S-type granites. This is on the margins of these is the right geologic environment that you want to be to get those fertile fluids to produce the lithium-rich pegmatites. On the western extent of the Allison Lake batholith, there's a well-documented elevated lithium trend with multiple matte pegmatites on our property and lithium occurrences within that trend. So this is priority 1, 2, and 3 for our Ontario prospects. Okay, let's look at our work program and timing. We're currently analyzing new remote sensing data. This is going to allow us to have that accelerated work program when we get boots on the ground in the spring. We're looking at outcrop detection tools, specifically pegmatite targets, and using multispectral imagery to identify spodumene-bearing pegmatites specifically. Our Ontario crew will mobilize in late April, early May, and will cover all 26,000 hectares within 2 months. And our Quebec team will mobilize in early June and will cover all 19,000 hectares in 6 to 8 weeks. So we're looking at running these 2 programs concurrently and covering all 45,000 hectares of ground within 2 months. Throughout that process, we'll be evaluating targets for drill testing, and we've slotted drilling in for Q4, but if results warrant, that timeline will be pushed up. Just want to touch on hard rock lithium exploration, specifically early stage, and why it requires a fraction of the time and money compared to other commodities. So lithium's occurring in pegmatites. These are large continuous targets. They're easily identifiable in the field. We can use remote sensing data to find outcrops and satellite imagery to find pegmatite target outcrops. And I mentioned the multispectral imaging as well. So this allows us to cover large areas of prospective ground very rapidly. And because that visual confirmation is so clear, we can evaluate targets for drill testing very quickly. And when we do get drilling, we're talking about shallow, near-surface targets where big step-outs of 100 meters is moderately conservative. If you compare that to orogenic gold, that's on the aggressive side. Here's our management team. So the company's under new management, has seen a number of changes to the board in the last 3 to 6 months. I want to point out in particular Nathan Tribble and Carl Ginn, 2 experienced geologists on the board with a number of discoveries under their belt, to highlight the technical experience in management. And then behind the board, since an in-house technical team that's led by myself, made up of a multidisciplinary group of geologists with expertise in remote sensing, geochemistry, modeling, and your classic field geologists. And we also have a great corporate team. Here's our share structure on the right, or on the left rather, and on the right-hand side is a summary of all of our lithium properties. I touched on the top priorities for Quebec and Ontario, but we will be having boots on the ground on all 45,000 hectares within the first 2 months of the field season this year. And you can find more information about those online in our corporate presentation as well. So that sums up my overview I was going to give you today. Is there any questions?